Welcome and good evening. I'm so glad that you were able to join us for our annual spring production. When our world was turned upside down, I knew early on that the show must go on. So let me begin our night together with the who, where, and how of this year's show. Mr. Biggs, with the help of Mr. Harrigan, the cast, and our NDBG families on Zoom with the spirit of a golden night. That is how this year's show has been brought to your home tonight. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy our virtual rendition of Clue.
Ominous, urgent, panic-inducing music plays. We hear the sounds of heavy rain and vicious dogs barking. We see an empty regal foyer and a magnificent front hall. It is foggy from the storm and dimly lit by a flickering chandelier hanging above. Yvette, a French maid, dressed perfectly, watches the news on a static-filled black and white television set. McCarthy's shrieking denunciations and fear-mongering have created a climate of fear and suspicion across the country. Any man who is named by either a senator or of a committee or a congressman is dangerous to the welfare of this nation. President Eisenhower refused to engage directly with McCarthy.
Yvette?
In a letter to his brother, however, Eisenhower explains, as for McCarthy, only a short-sighted or completely inexperienced individual would urge the use of the office of the presidency to give an opponent the publicity he so avidly desires.
Ah, monsieur, I didn't hear you come in. You frightened me half to death.
Wouldn't want to do that. There are so many better ways to die. Please turn off that noise. Is everything ready?
Oui.
Good. Cook?
You called, sir?
Everything on schedule?
Dinner will be ready at 7:30. Sharp.
Ah, right on time. You have your instructions? Let the game begin.
The hall. Wadsworth crosses upstage to the opening as the red drape flies out, revealing the hall, a rather large Gothic entrance room to a dark and mysterious mansion. Lightning continues to flash through the pair of stained glass windows. Strange paintings and various taxidermy adorn the upper walls. There are a total of 7 doors in the hall, 3 to the right and 3 to the left. At the center, there are steps that lead to a rounded platform where we find the front door. A suit of armor is on the left and a love seat to the right. Yvette pushes the bar cart from the side of the room to the other, crossing Cook, who passes her, sharpening the knives. Wadsworth crosses between them and steps up to the front door.
Right on time. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm not sure if I'm in the right.
Yes, indeed, sir. You are expected, Colonel. May I take your coat? It is Colonel Mustard, isn't it?
No, that's not my name. My name is Colonel...
Pardon me, sir, but tonight you may well feel obliged to my employer for the use of a pseudonym.
Oh, no, thank you. I took an antihistamine before I came.
Yvette, will you attend to the Colonel and give him anything he requires? Ah. Do come in, madam. You are expected.
Do you know who I am?
Only that you are to be known as Mrs. White.
Ironic, isn't it? The letter I received said I should refer to myself by that name. But why?
May I introduce you? Mrs. White, this is the maid, Yvette. I see you two know each other.
Don't be ridiculous. I've never seen this woman before in my life. Hello.
Hello?
Behold, said the Lord, I am bringing down the flood of water upon the earth to destroy all flesh.
Bonjour, madame.
Speaking of flesh,
Mrs. Peacock, I presume.
Book?
cook.
Look, you two know each other.
Don't be ridiculous. I've never seen this woman before in my life. Who are you?
Hold that thought.
Is this the right address to meet a Mr. Body?
You must be Mr. Green.
Yes.
Sit! No, not you, sir.
Oh, excuse me. I'm rather clumsy at parties, I'm afraid.
Not to worry, sir.
Oh dear, is there a cat? I'm afraid I'm highly allergic.
Give him a pseudonym. Clears it right up.
Cook? Coat?
Kindly.
Greetings, all. It's a pleasure for you to see me.
Ah, Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet. Welcome. I didn't realize you were acquainted.
We weren't. My car broke down, and this professor gave me a ride.
Ooh, cocktail hour. I only drink on 2 occasions, day and night.
Good lord, this really is a party. So, what is this godforsaken place anyway?
I thank you to keep him out of this.
This old place? Oh, this is Body Manor. Cook, dinner?
Directly.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are all met. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Wadsworth, the butler. You may have realized that tonight nobody is being addressed by their real name. I suggest you refrain from revealing too much about yourselves this evening. Ah, dinner.
I haven't even finished my champagne.
That was more like a cocktail minute.
We really oughtn't to keep her waiting. Cook can get cranky. Follow me, please. The dining room is right this way. Colonel Mustard. Mrs. White. Mrs. Peacock. Mr. Green.
Yes.
Miss Scarlet. Professor Plum. You will find your names by your places. Please be seated.
Do you see my tag?
Is that
You
me?
are.
Is that you?
Dinner is served.
Well, what's this all about, Butler? This dinner party?
All in good time, madam. Excuse me if you will.
Shark's fin soup.
My favorite.
Bon appetit.
I say we eat while it's hot.
I like things hot.
But isn't soup supposed to be hot?
Thank you, Lord, for this meal we are about to receive and for our gracious host, whomever he is, that has invited us here tonight.
Maybe the host isn't here because the host is dead.
I'm feeling awfully anxious.
Well, I guess I'll break the ice. I mean, I'm used to being a hostess. It's part of my husband's work as... Oh, I always host the ladies group for my church. It's difficult when a group of new friends meet for the first time, so I'll get the ball rolling. I mean, I have no idea what we're doing here, but I'm very intrigued and oh my, this soup is delicious, isn't it?
I think hosting parties is deathly boring.
Well, it's an integral part of my life as the wife of... Oh, I forgot we're not supposed to say who we really are.
I know who you are.
How do you know who I am?
I work in Washington, too.
Oh, so you're a politician's wife.
Yes, I am.
So, who's your husband? Maybe I know him.
Mrs. White, what does your husband do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, he just lies around on his back all day.
Sounds like hard work to me.
He lies around on his back all day because he's dead.
So what do you do in Washington, D.C., Mr. Green?
I'd better not say.
Oh, come on. How are we supposed to get acquainted if we don't say anything about ourselves? No judgment here. We're all God's children.
I don't believe in God.
Well, if I wasn't trying to keep the conversation going, we'd all be sitting here in embarrassed silence.
In my professional opinion, it sounds like you have a case of fear of silence-itis.
Is that an official diagnosis?
Are you a doctor, Professor?
I know a little bit about psychological medicine, yes.
Do you practice?
Not anymore. I currently work for the government.
Another politician.
No, not exactly. I do research for the Office of Social and Behavioral Studies. In other words, I study crazy, and I'm good at it.
Sounds fascinating.
Thank you, Colonel. You are a real colonel, aren't you?
I am, sir.
Aren't you going to mention the coincidence that you also live in Washington, D.C.?
How did you know that?
Oh, I've seen you before.
So, Miss Scarlet, does this mean that you live in Washington, too?
Oh, I do everything in Washington, Mr. Green.
Does anyone here not live in Washington, D.C.?
Wadsworth, we've had about enough of this. Where's our host, and why have we been brought here?
Pardon me, please. Good evening, sir. You are eagerly awaited.
Thank you, Wadsworth. It's good to be home. Are the guests all here?
In the dining room, sir.
Right on schedule. I'll meet you in the study then, as planned.
May I take your bags?
No, Wadsworth. I'll keep them with me.
They contain more evidence, I assume?
Never assume, Wadsworth. It's much more fun to be surprised.
For God's sake, I demand to know what's going on.
Right. I believe you've all received a letter, yes?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
I did.
Do you have them with you? And am I correct that each of your letters advised you to be present this evening because a certain Mr. Bob to a long-standing, confidential, and painful financial liability?
That's what my sister says.
Right.
Mine
Yeah.
too.
Can I interest any of you in fruit or dessert?
No.
Oh,
In that case, may I suggest we adjourn to the study for coffee and brandy, at which point I believe your letters will be explained and the game will be afoot.
The game.
What is he
What
talking
game?
about?
I love games.
The study. The guests find themselves in a fully realized study. On the right, there's a small desk and chair. A large fireplace is center, and on the to the edge of the room. Yvette stands by her bar cart, passing out brandies to Mustard, Plum, and Scarlet.
Thank you, Yvette. That will be all.
Well, where's our host?
He's not here. Nobody's here. What's happening?
Please, Mrs. Peacock, have a drink.
My lips belong to the Lord.
Well, mine don't. Mind if I smoke?
For Wadsworth. Open after dinner. It's for you.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Sorry. There really must be a cat somewhere.
Right then. Are you comfortable?
I make a good living.
Oh, out with it, Wadsworth.
Ladies and gentlemen, my instructions are clear. It seems the 6 of you have one thing in common. You are all being blackmailed. For some considerable time, all of you have been paying what you can afford, and in some cases, more than you can afford. Who's you?
Oh, please. I've never heard anything so ridiculous. I mean, no one could blackmail me. I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, lady, don't we all?
Anybody else wish to deny it? Until tonight, none of you knew who was blackmailing you. I hope I'm correct that the more deductive among you have reasoned in the last several months that it was, of course, that the less discerning members of our cadre are experiencing that particular revelation right about
It was Mr. Body.
now.
I have half of my
Ooh,
atomic
it's
harvest in
fine
right
Going
now.
things your eyes a
Stress is
man
not
should
good
know.
for my blood
Blackmail?
pressure. What do we do
Enough!
now?
Enough! My task this evening is to expose your secrets to each other, rendering you all culpable to each other's indiscretions.
Don't you think that you might spare us this humiliation?
I'm sorry, but I have my orders. We'll start with you, Professor Plum.
Lucky you.
Luck's got nothing to do with it.
You were once a professor of psychiatry, specializing in helping lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur.
Yes, but now I work for the U.S. government.
So your work has not changed. But you can't practice medicine anymore, can you? Your license has been lifted, correct?
Why? What do you do?
You know how male doctors aren't supposed to date their lady patients?
Yeah.
Well, he did.
Unethical.
Are you making moral judgments, Mrs. Peacock? How, then, do you justify taking bribes in return for delivering Senator Peacock's votes to certain lobbyists?
My husband is a paid consultant. There's nothing sinful about that.
Not if it's publicly declared. If certain lobbyists are slipping payments to a sneaky senator's wife under the stall of the men's room at Old Ebbet Grill, how would you describe that transaction?
I'd say it stinks.
When were you in that men's room?
So it's true.
No, it's a vicious lie.
But you've been paying blackmail for a year now to keep that story out of the papers.
Well, I am willing to believe you. I too am being.
Me too.
And me.
Did it not pick up? Not me.
You're not being blackmailed, Miss Scarlet?
I run a top secret agency for classified affairs.
French.
Legislative. There are 535 members of Congress having classified affairs.
How pathetic. A man who needs to pay for a woman to spend time with him, that's a problem I'll never have.
Is that how you knew Colonel Mustard works in Washington? Is he one of your clients?
Certainly not.
I was asking Miss Scarlet.
Well, you tell him it's not true.
It's not. No, it's not true.
Ah, so it is true.
Double negative.
Double negative? That means you have photographs?
That sounds like a confession to me. In fact, the double negative has led to proof positive. I'm afraid you gave yourself away.
Are you trying to make me look stupid in front of the other guests?
You don't need any help from me, sir.
That's right.
Hold a sensitive security post in the Pentagon. Those negatives would most certainly compromise your position.
This is an outrage.
Mrs. White, you've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances.
I didn't kill him.
Then why are you paying the blackmailer?
I don't want a scandal. We had a very humiliating public confrontation. He was deranged. He was a lunatic. He didn't actually seem to like me that much. He had threatened to kill me in public.
Why would he want to kill you in public?
I think she meant that he had threatened in public to kill her.
Was that his final word on the matter?
Being killed is pretty final, wouldn't you say?
And yet he was the one who died. Not you, Mrs. White. Not you.
What did the poor chap do for a living?
Their physics.
What was he like?
He was a stupidly optimistic man. I'm afraid it came as a great shock to him when he died. He was found dead at home. He was unclothed. His head had been cut off. But it wasn't me. I'd been out all evening. At the movies.
And what was showing?
The Naked Alibi.
Likely story.
Do you miss him?
It's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life.
But he was your second husband. Your first also disappeared.
That was his...
But he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist. But my third husband, I missed him the most. He was an electrician. Well, until he was electrocuted.
And lastly, Mr. Green, who is a...
I don't need you to unmask me, Wadsworth. I know what you're going to say about me, but it doesn't make me a criminal.
What's that?
Mr. Green, who is a homosexual.
Not me.
Beg your pardon?
You asked who is a homosexual, and I said not me.
Yes, thank you, Colonel. You're correct, Mr. Green. Your crime is not your sexuality. It's your politics.
My politics? Since when is working for the Republican Party a crime?
Oath of allegiance to the Republican Party, but neglected to vote for Eisenhower in the last election. That's grounds for an ousting if ever there was one.
But voting records are confidential.
Everything has its price, Mr. Green.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Well, spilled our beans. Now what?
Where is this Mr. Body?
And what does he want from us?
Who cares? I'm not waiting to find out. I've done nothing wrong. I'm leaving.
I'm sorry, madam. You can stay in denial, but you cannot leave this house.
I am the wife of the great senator of Ohio. You can't tell me what to do. Locked!
Locked?
Locked?
All the doors are locked. The windows are barred, and the grounds are patrolled by vicious dogs. There's no way out.
This is
It's
an
an
outrage.
You can't
Why?
hold us hostage.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Mr. Body, your host for the evening and your blackmailer for life.
You're such
You
a
think
typical
you are?
man.
I'll have you
All
brought
these
before
good
Congress.
people.
Yeah.
I don't
Have
get
you
it.
ever heard
What's
of a
in it for
vacuum
you?
cleaner?
Ooh, Mrs. White in the study with her knee.
Pardon me, everybody, but there is one more piece of evidence or information you may all like to have.
What?
What?
The police are coming.
What are you?
Why are the police coming? When are the police coming?
In less than an hour, the police will arrive. The bridge washed out from the rain. They're expecting to find one mastermind and the criminals he's detained.
That's us.
He's made it clear that there's evidence here, and that they have much to gain.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Unless
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 what?
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 you agree to double down.
Double what?
You each pay me twice what you've been paying, and I'll tell the police it was a phony call and send them on their way. You refuse, and I put the briefcase containing all the evidence needed to expose your wrongdoings in the hands of the police and the press. I believe you would face a lifetime in jail, and others a lifetime of shame.
You
That's why you
crook.
brought all of
Get
us
that
here?
briefcase.
Unless,
Unless
Unless
what?
what?
well, there is something else you can do for me. One little favor that would change and fair to do myself.
What?
What?
Have a seat, please.
What's this about, sir?
In this bag, there are 6 gifts I've brought you from Washington, things I thought you might find useful this evening. Open them.
Oh, why not? I enjoy getting presents from men. Candlestick? What's this for?
A wrench.
A lead pipe.
A dagger.
A revolver.
It's a snake! It's a snake! Oh, it's just a rope.
In your hands, you each have a lethal weapon. You all showed up here tonight. It was so terrible that you would do almost anything to keep it a secret. I'm putting that theory to the test. Mr. Wadsworth here is the only other person who knows your secrets, and it's costing me and you dearly to keep him quiet. You see, I wouldn't have to double your payments if I didn't have to pay Mr. Wadsworth for his silence.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Mr. Wadsworth.
That's a lie.
He may,
Thank you.
but he's really convincing and manipulative.
False.
Why do you think he's called the police?
You called the police?
Only because he instructed me to do so.
Did I? Or did Mr. Wadsworth call the police here himself so he can carry out his greedy threat? Pay him more, or he reveals us and all our questionability legal behavior to the police.
I would never.
If you can manage to somehow get rid of Mr. Wadsworth, I have no need to increase your blackmail or expose you to the police. As a matter of truth, if you help me eliminate Wadsworth, who not only knows all your secrets but also mine, perhaps I can find it in my heart to eliminate your blackmail altogether and be done with this terrible business once and for all.
You would never.
Why us, Mr. Body? Why don't you do your dirty work yourself?
Are so uniquely motivated.
After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me? Don't listen to him. He's a liar. I'm one of you. He's been blackmailing me along the rest of you.
Oh yeah? What did you do?
That's neither here nor there. The point is, I'm not a butler. I'm an indentured servant.
Don't make a scene, Wadsworth. It's over. The police are on their way. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's your chance. Kill Wadsworth and end your blackmail forever.
It's Mr. Body.
Oh, thank God.
Breathing?
Stand back. He's dead.
Who had the gun?
I did.
So you shot him?
I didn't.
Well, you had the gun. If you didn't, who did?
Somebody grabbed it from my hand, and the next thing I knew, the gun went off.
There's no gunshot wound.
There's not.
Look, there's a bullet lodged here.
So, how did he die?
I don't know. Being unbearably handsome doesn't make me a forensic expert.
One of us must have killed him.
Well, I didn't do it.
I need a drink.
Maybe he was poisoned by the brandy.
It's all right, Mrs. Peacock. It's all right. It's all right. Calm down. I had to stop her screaming.
Was the brandy poured?
Looks like we'll never know.
Unless she dies too.
Wait for me.
The corridor, outside of the billiard room. Wadsworth and the guests enter. They run on stage to the door of the billiard room. Wadsworth tries the handle. The door is locked.
It's locked. Who's in there? Who's screaming?
C'est moi!
Yvette?
Oui.
Yvette, are you all right?
No?
Yvette, are you alive?
Of course I'm alive. No thanks to you, Wadsworth, you idiot. You've locked us up in this house with a murderer.
So the murderer is here?
We?
Where?
Here, we're all looking at him.
What took you so long?
I am an old woman in an aggravated state of shock. It's amazing I'm anywhere.
I heard you in the study. One of you is the killer.
How could you hear us in the study?
I was listening. I have a tape recorder in the billiard room. Monsieur Body asked me to tape record your conversation.
Why would he ask you to record our conversation?
For more evidence, of course. When Wadsworth revealed your secrets into studies, they were all recorded.
What a snake! I've got to destroy him. Where are the tapes?
The tapes? What about the body?
What body?
Body's body.
But Yvette, why were you screaming in there, all by yourself?
Frightened. I also drank the cognac. Maybe I am poisoned too. Mon Dieu. I can't stay here alone.
Sorry, I'll protect you. I'm very strong.
But one of you is the killer. Monsieur Body is dead.
And we have to figure out which one of them did it.
What do you mean, which one of them?
Well, I didn't do it.
Well, one of us did. We all had the opportunity. And the motive. Mr. Body was a bully and a liar to us all. I would have killed him myself, but I didn't have the 6 of you had the means to do it.
Don't look at me. All I got was a candlestick.
Maybe it wasn't one of us.
Who else is in the house?
Only the cook.
The cook.
The cook?
The cook!
The kitchen. Wadsworth, Yvette, and the guests enter the kitchen. The kitchen racks of pots and pans flies in. A freezer appears on the left. Green no longer has the lead pipe.
Ah!
There's a dagger in her back.
I didn't do it. Will somebody help me, please?
I think you'd better explain yourself, Wadsworth.
Me? Why me?
Who else would want to kill the cook?
Dinner wasn't that bad.
How can you make jokes at a time like this?
It's my...
Some defense. If I was the killer, I'd kill you next. I said if. If, that's all. There's only one admitted killer here, and that's not me. It's Miss White.
I've admitted nothing.
You paid the blackmail. How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women's?
Yours.
5.
5?
Yes, just the 5. Husband should be like Kleenex. Soft, strong, and...
If it wasn't you, who was it? Who had the dagger?
It was Miss Peacock.
But I put it down!
Where?
In the study!
When?
I don't know, before he slapped me, after I was assaulted, who knows? But any of us could have picked it up. It must have been Mr. Green.
Where's Mr. Green?
Can somebody please help me?
Here, get him up. Gentlemen, might I suggest we take the cook's body into the study?
Why?
Well, for starters, when the police arrive, if they find this, we'll all be in custody and under suspicion for murder.
Murder!
And secondly, I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
The study. The guests enter the study, talking loudly amongst themselves about the events of the evening and how to correctly carry a dead body. They cross to the center of the room and then they stop. Silence. They slowly look back to the spot where Body was.
The body's gone. There's no body.
Nobody, no body! Mr. Body's body! It's gone!
Maybe he wasn't dead.
He was.
Well, where is he?
He couldn't have been dead.
He was. At least, I thought he was.
Maybe there is life after death.
Life after death is as improbable as fun after marriage.
If you'll excuse me, I have to. It's her little girl's room.
Oui, madame.
No, I just want to powder my nose.
There's a toilet in the billiard room.
I don't mean to alarm. Have the small issue of two dead bodies, one missing, one present, and the imminent arrival of the police, who, by my calculations, ought to be here in 37 minutes.
Wadsworth, am I right in thinking that there is nobody else in this house?
No.
Then there is someone else in this house?
No. Sorry, I said no, meaning yes.
No, meaning yes. Look, I want a straight answer. Is there someone else in this house? Yes or no?
No.
No, there is, or no, there isn't?
Yes.
There seems to be some confusion about whether or not we are the only people in this house.
There isn't.
You mean there isn't any confusion, or there isn't anyone else?
Either, or both.
Just give me a clear answer.
Certainly. What was the question?
Is there anyone else in this house?
No.
No!
That's what he says. But does he know? Look, we've got a killer and a missing dead body on the loose. One dead cook and a dagger, the revolver, the candlestick, the wrench, and hey, where's the lead pipe?
It's Mr. Body.
He's attacking her.
No, he's not. He's dead.
Mr. Body? Dead? Again?
Oh my god!
Somebody catch her.
I'll catch you. Fall into my arms. Sorry.
In the bathroom, I opened the door and there he was. I thought he was attacking me. He lunged.
Dead people don't lunge.
Well, he's certainly dead now. Who would want to kill him twice?
It's what we call overkill.
And why?
What's the difference?
Makes a difference to him.
Makes a difference to us. We've got to find out who killed him, where, and with what.
Seems like it was probably the lead pipe.
10 points, Professor Plum.
What kind of game are you playing, Wadsworth?
You! The lead pipe belonged to you!
But I dropped it while we were running to the kitchen.
So anyone could have picked it up.
There's no need to shout.
I'm not shouting. All right? I am. I'm shouting. I'm shouting. I'm shouting.
Hey! While you clowns lose your marbles, I'm over here trying to do something useful. Have you all forgotten about the evidence against us? The briefcase is locked.
There must be a key.
The key. Mr. Green, would you be so kind as to check Mr. Body's pockets for the key to the briefcase which contains the evidence to our past transgressions, so that we may destroy said evidence forever and free ourselves from any chance of future blackmail?
He's so bloody.
I'll do it. It's not here.
It's not? I see. Hand me the wrench. It's empty.
Empty?
Then where's all the evidence?
Ha! I told you Barty was a liar. Had the evidence in his briefcase, my foot.
Well, then where is it? What does he have on us? I can't stand this uncertainty.
I can assure you that Mr. Barty possessed individual files containing devastating, incriminating evidence against each of us, kept in one large, beastly blackmail envelope marked confidential. But where that envelope is now, and precisely what it contains, I could not say. All I know, we are all goners.
We must find that evidence and destroy it.
Then we can put all this behind us and move forward with our miserable lives.
Evidence aside, first things first. We're in a room with 2 dead bodies and 6 murderous weapons, and the cops are on their way.
Not to mention, there's a homicidal maniac about. Let's put the weapons back in Barty's bag.
The corridor. The guests head to the right towards the broom closet. Yvette opens the closet, and Wadsworth throws the bag in. He locks the door.
There.
Wait, what are you gonna do with the key to the closet, Wadsworth?
I'll put it in my pocket.
But what if you're the murderer?
I'm not.
But what if you are?
I've an idea.
Idea.
Excellent idea.
Excellent.
The hall. Wadsworth leads Yvette and the guests towards the front door. He opens it to throw away the key, but shockingly, a motorist stands at the door, poised to knock. The guests gasp.
How do you do? Can we help?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb the whole household. But my car broke down out there, and I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Right. Just a moment, please. Very well, sir. Would you care to come in?
Thank you. Well, where is it?
What? The body?
The phone. What body?
What? There's nobody. There's nobody. There's nobody in the study.
No.
No.
But I think there's a phone in the lounge.
Thank you.
Right through this door. When you've made your call, perhaps you would be good enough to wait in there?
Certainly.
Now listen. The police are on their way. I estimate another 29 minutes or so. That gives us plenty of time.
To do what? Get killed?
It's true we must identify the murderer, but my immediate concern is recovering the evidence.
But how?
I suggest we handle this in proper military fashion. We split up and search the house.
But one of us might run into the murderer.
Mon Dieu!
Then one of us will have discovered who the murderer is.
But then one of us will be dead.
This is war, Peacock. Casualties are inevitable. You cannot make an omelet without breaking eggs. Every cook will tell you that.
I'm a bird, and look what happened to the cook!
Colonel, are you willing to take that chance?
What choice do we have?
None.
I suppose you're right.
Gesundheit.
I swear to God, there's a cat in this house.
All right, troops, divide and conquer.
And remember, no funny business. We must work as a team. Oh, what am I saying? It's not like any of you would come upon the missing envelope and purposely hide it so you could clear yourself of blame, and then blackmail the rest of us to secure yourself an unseemingly but substantial fortune.
Who would ever do such a
Why
thing?
would I do that?
No.
Good. Now, you'll know you found the dirt when you find an envelope marked confidential
That's essential.
and consequential.
Let's meet back here in 10 minutes.
But what if someone doesn't come back?
We'll remember you fondly.
The hall.
6 suspects, 2 murders, and an envelope of damning evidence hidden somewhere in this house. With the police due in 25 minutes, we can't take any chances. My deepest apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Lock the doors. Now, we're all in this together.
The corridor outside the broom closet and the lounge. A dark figure enters from the left door and goes to the broom closet. The dark figure unlocks the broom closet, takes out Body's bag, retrieving the wrench. The dark figure puts the bag back in the closet and exits. We see the lounge with a floor lamp and a small table and a phone next to the chair. A small fire burns in the fireplace, and the motorist is on the phone.
I'm a little nervous. I'm in this big house, and I've been locked in the lounge. And the funny thing is, there's a whole group of people here, having some sort of party. And one of them is my old boss from...
The conservatory. Mustard, who is searching the conservatory, which, like a greenhouse, has windows that curve up to the ceiling. On one wall are shelves of potted scarlet flowers. One of the petals on the flowers is missing, and Scarlet enters.
Where is it?
Where's what?
The evidence that you snatched out of my hands, you idiot!
I don't know what you're talking about.
Either give it up, or I'll have you singing soprano!
All right, I snatched it, but someone's... Don't look at me.
I'm not looking at you!
Yes, you are. You're looking at me right now.
Hey, look. Scarlet flowers. My favorite. They smell divine. You know, if you rub the petals on your neck, the smell is irresistible to men. Oh my God, and garters!
Oh, come on. It's just a little flat. Emotional.
No, not the flower, Colonel Smarty Pants, the secret passage! Come on!
Ladies first, Miss Scarlet.
How heroic.
The lounge. The large red drape rises, revealing the lounge. The fireplace rotates, and Scarlet and Mustard exit from behind the fireplace. The room is dark. Scarlet and Mustard are unaware of the dead motorist in the chair.
Where are we?
How should I know? The lights are off.
Well, turn them on.
I would if I could see anything.
Well, here. Maybe this'll help.
The lounge. Of course, we forgot to look in the lounge.
Quite an oversight considering the dead motorist in the chair. Dead motorist? Ah!
Help! Help! Murder! Murder!
Murder!
What a sin! What a sin!
Let us
Let us
out!
out!
Let us
Let us
out!
out!
We can't let you out. The door is locked.
You had the key, Wadsworth! You locked the motorist in here!
I do. I don't. The key is gone.
Gone?
Gone?
Gone.
Gone.
On.
There's a murder on the loose! Please get us out of here!
There's no alternative. I'm just gonna have to break down the door. Stand back.
I have an idea.
I knew it.
Help!
Help!
Murder!
Murder! Help!
Everyone, stand back.
I think they're shooting at us.
You don't say, Sherlock!
Come out. The door is open. I'm done shooting.
Why were you shooting at us?
To open the door.
But you could have killed. This is not a battlefield.
Well, la-di-da-da. You're really something else, huh, Frenchie? Say, where did you get that gun anyway?
The broom closet. It was unlocked.
Unlocked.
Locked?
Locked.
Impossible. I have the key. No, I haven't. It's gone.
Gone.
On. I thought you said you'd throw away the key to the broom closet, Wadsworth.
I did say that, but I didn't do that. We got distracted by the motorist at the door, and I forgot. One of you must have snatched the keys from my pocket when we were searching the house.
So whoever took the keys is the killer.
Precisely.
I am so smart, sometimes I impress myself.
Speaking of the killer, there's a dead body in the lounge, you know.
Again.
The motorist is dead.
It's true. Now there are 3 unsolved murders.
Three.
Which one of
We
you
found
killed him?
We found him together.
The door was locked.
Great trick. Getting through a locked door. My husband would have appreciated that.
We went through a secret passage from the conservatory to the lounge.
Who designed this place?
The Parker brothers.
Oh, maybe they'll go away.
I'm going to open the door. It's the decent thing to do.
Don't worry. It's not the police.
It's the police. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We've been expecting you.
You have?
We haven't?
Well, you see, I was just passing through and found an old abandoned car near the entrance here. You happen to know if a motorist came by for help by any chance?
No.
No.
Oh, no, no,
No.
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 Well, actually, yes.
No.
No.
There seems to be some sort of disagreement here.
No.
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 Sir?
No.
No.
Can I come in and use your phone?
Of course you may, sir. There's a phone in the lounge.
Out of order. Sorry.
Of course, my mistake. You can use the phone in the study?
Occupied.
If you please, sir, you may use the phone in the library. Right this way.
You're all acting peculiar here. What's going on in the lounge in the study?
Lounging, studying. This way.
Why don't I take a look here?
No, thank you.
What?
This way, please.
Actually, I'd really like to take a look for myself, if you don't mind.
Of course, officer. Follow me. I'll take you on a grand tour of Body Manor. This home was built by Lord Reginald Body in 1784.
We've got to cover our tracks. We can't get rid of the bodies, so we've got to make them look like they're alive.
Good idea.
Lord Body had been declared Lord Body after somebody discovered an antibody that would save everybody. Notice the mahogany floor. Did you know in the 17th century, the buccaneer John Esquelming recorded the use of mahogany for making canoes? Can you canoe?
What? Where in the blazes did everyone go?
Who? Notice the brass doorknobs, crafted specifically for Lord Body by his body in 1878, and
I don't care about the doorknobs, mister. I want to know what's going on around here. What are you hiding in those 2 rooms?
Which 2 rooms?
The lounge and the study.
Oh, those 2 rooms.
Yes.
Officer, I don't think you should go in there.
Oh, well, why not?
Because it's all too shocking.
Hello, officer. Welcome to the party.
Well, you see, it's not all that shocking. These folks are just having a good old time here. It's a free country, after all.
I didn't know it was that free.
Well, why didn't you tell me it was a party here, mister?
My apologies, sir.
Excuse me.
Evening, officer. How do you do?
You know if these fellas over here are drunk?
Oh, they're dead drunk.
Want a sip?
Oh, no, thank you. The last time I did that, the chief almost killed me.
Killed if you do, killed if you don't.
What now?
Have a lovely evening, officer.
Same to you. Well, I don't know what you were so worried about here, mister. There ain't anything legal about this. I'd just make sure you call those fellers over there a cab home.
A long black car.
Ah, terrific. Anyways, can I really use your phone now?
Certainly. The library, officer.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All's clear. You can come out now. Well done, all of you. Impressive. The criminal mind is an incredible beast.
You really pulled that off.
I didn't know you had it in you.
All right. Now, let's finish searching the manor. The police will be here in 17 minutes.
But the police already came.
Not the broken down car police. The criminal investigation police. We must find the evidence, and we can't afford to have any more murders.
Wadsworth, Yvette, and the guests exit. The dark figure sneaks on and goes to the wall. A dark figure opens the panel and pulls out a lever. Suddenly, the lights go out. The cop is in the library, who stands in front of a bookcase. He is on the phone.
Hello here? Is this thing on? Is this phone even working here?
Hello? Hello?
It's me.
Oh, you scared me. I thought you was the killer.
Did somebody cut the line here? Hello? You saw it right. Oh, good. You can hear me. There's something funny going around here. The lights just went out and
The hall. The pulsating tone of the telephone is still heard. A match is lit. In the light of the flame, we see Wadsworth's face. He uses the flame to find a light panel. Suddenly, the lights turn back on, revealing Wadsworth fully. The guests pour back, drawn to the hall by the sound of the off-the-hook telephone coming from the library.
Must have been a short end with the
Oh,
wire.
there we are.
The Lord said, let there be light.
Yeah, but did the Lord happen to mention why the lights were shut off to begin with?
Oh, who cares? We're still in the dark anyway. We're no closer to solving our murder mysteries or unearthing the evidence against us.
Do you hear that?
Sounds like a telephone is off the hook.
It's coming from the library.
That's what the killer must be.
Got me. I'm going in.
What are you afraid of?
Fate worse than death?
No, just death. Excuse me, Mr. Cop. Are you all right? Do you need assistance? A phone book, perhaps?
Hey, the butler asked you a question, Copper. Hang up the telephone already or I will. Ah!
We should be safe here in the billiard room.
I'm gonna open the drapes. Maybe we can escape through the window.
Yes, an escape.
Good idea.
They all run out. Oh. Just as Peacock runs in, still holding the cop's head. Peacock sees Yvette and screams, throwing the cop's head in the air. The head is caught by Green, who tosses it in, then caught by White. Ultimately, the head is left in the billiard room as the guests run back to the hall, continuing to scream as they each exit individually through all the remaining doors.
I am your singing telegram.
Three murders in 3 minutes. That's our best record.
This is getting serious. 6 suspects. Mr. Body in the billiard room, the cook in the kitchen, the motorist in the lounge, the cop in the library, Yvette in the ballroom, and the singing telegram girl in the hall. Not to mention one confidential envelope of missing, damning evidence. Our evening's guests may be gifted at breaking the law, but they clearly need to work on breaking a case. So, who is the killer, you may ask? I'm sure you have your suspicions, but we've no time to discuss that now. The police are nearly here. Very well. In order to figure out who the murderer is, I believe the best course of action is to start at the beginning. Sometimes the most obvious answer is right under our noses.
I thought the cat was dead.
Yes, thank you, Colonel. So nice of you to join us. I shall take you through the events of the evening, step by step. Now, try to stay with me. At the start of the evening, Yvette was here, waiting to offer you all a glass of champagne. The doorbell rang. It was you. I recognized you as Colonel Mustard. Yvette gave you a drink. Doorbell. Mrs. White, pale and tragic. I introduced her to Yvette. They both flinched. A rumble of thunder, a crash of lightning. Peacock, green, scarlet, plum all arrived. That's when the cook banged the gong, and we all adjourned to the dining room. You found your names beside your places.
Shark's fin soup.
My favorite.
And you'd had a letter, and you'd had a letter, and you'd...
Get
Get
on
Get
with
on
it.
with it.
That's it.
We all went to the study. Mr. Body gave you gifts, and you opened them. Then Mr. Body switched off the lights.
What happened?
Is he dead?
Dead?
Odd.
Mr. Body lay on the floor, apparently dead. But he wasn't really dead. He was really alive, but we didn't know it. Next, Mrs. Peacock drank his drink. Mr. Green suggested the drink might be poisoned.
I had to stop her screaming.
Suddenly, we heard more screaming from Yvette. We ran to the billiard room.
You locked me in with the murderer, you idiot.
But one of us wasn't there.
Who?
Oh.
Who?
Mrs. Peacock.
I was there with the rest of you.
When we heard Yvette scream, we all ran from the study, but you lagged behind.
I'm in an aggravated state of shock.
It was a perfect time to commit murder. May I?
Be my guest.
It was Mrs. Peacock in the kitchen with the dagger.
God forbid!
I found your feather in the freezer, Mrs. Peacock, and it was your dagger that stabbed the cook in the back.
Poor woman. I thought you liked her soup.
It was my favorite.
Then we ran to the kitchen. Mr. Green, you were under the cook's corpse for approximately 2 minutes and 57 seconds, while the rest of us never realized you were gone. I suggested that we bring the cook back to the study. But Body's body was gone. Then Mrs. Peacock came into the room with Body on her body because Body had been bludgeoned by the bathroom in his bean with the lead pipe.
By whom?
Was Mr. Green in the billiard room with the lead pipe? I found your disgusting hanky just outside the bathroom door in the billiard room, right where Mrs. Peacock was attacked by Mr. Body the second time he died. And it was your lead pipe found in his skull. Couldn't stand the thought of Body getting away, huh? So you bashed his brains out.
Don't be ridiculous. I can't stand the sight of blood. It wasn't me.
That's when we decided to destroy the evidence in Body's briefcase.
The briefcase was empty.
Correct. The evidence Body had been holding against us was gone.
That's where we locked away the murder weapons and ran to the front door to throw away the key to the hall.
We opened the door and discovered the motorist.
Who got killed alone?
But who killed him? That door was locked.
It was Colonel Mustard in the lounge. You stole the key to the broom closet, grabbed the wrench, and did the deed.
Not. I don't even know the man.
To Colonel Mustard, your driver for life, Mike the motorist.
Give me that!
Plus, I found you lurking conspicuously in the conservatory. The scarlet flowers opened the secret passage to the lounge, but if I remember correctly, scarlet flowers have always had 5 petals. This one only had 4, meaning you had already plucked a petal to the passage to the lounge where you pummeled the motorist to death with the wrench.
Never underestimate what you can do with a wrench, Mustard.
I know! How'd you think I fixed the sink?
Then the doorbell rang. Ding dong. And the cop arrived.
The cop who got killed in the library.
It was Miss Scottish in the library with the candlestick.
I didn't do it!
Oh yeah? Then how'd the cop wind up decapitated? And what did I find your cigarette holder in a stack of books in the library?
Oh, give me a break. You found my cigarette holder before the cop even arrived.
Aha! Admit that you were in the library. What were you doing, huh? Plotting a murder?
How could I plot a murder of a cop I didn't even know was coming?
I rest my case.
I didn't kill him. But I do know who killed the singing telegram girl.
You do?
You do?
It was Professor Plum in the hall with the revolver.
How could I? Yvette had the gun. She shot the lounge door.
But when the cop arrived, she passed it to you when we ran to the front door, hiding it in that stupid French hat of yours. I found it when we were searching the house.
Proved nothing.
Maybe we should slow things down. Then, before she could finish her cramp rolls, I wonder what kind of dirt had on you. Big old patient of yours or something, right?
I never saw that girl before in my life. This is ridiculous. It wasn't me.
I know. It was Miss White with the rope in the billiard room.
Rather die.
I saw how you cringed when you came in tonight and noticed the event. You mentioned that your third husband was an electrician, Stands to reason you'd know your way around an electrical panel. So it was you who switched off the lights and strangled Yvette with a rope.
I did not. I mean, yes, I'll admit it. I recognized Yvette. She had a torrid love affair with my husband. I hated her. I hated her so much. It, the flames on the side of my face, breathing, heaving.
Mrs. White?
I didn't kill her.
So, in summation,
Thank God.
it was Mrs. Peacock in the kitchen with the dagger, Colonel Mustard in the lounge with the wrench, Miss Scott in the library with the candlestick, Professor Plum in the hall with the revolver, Mrs. White in the ballroom with the rope, and Mr. Green in the billiard room with the lead pipe.
Wait a minute. There's still one thing I don't understand.
One thing?
Now, two.
How did you?
You can call me Wadsworth if you want to.
That's your name, isn't it?
You all thought it was Mr. Body who was killed tonight, but that's impossible.
But he bled all over me.
But it wasn't Body who was bleeding.
But if it wasn't Body, then who was he?
He was Wadsworth, my butler.
You're Mr. Body.
Oh!
I want to thank all of you for killing off my network of spies and informers, which you all did splendidly, by the way. And so, of course, the added bonus of our evening together is that now I have each of you on the hook for murder.
Murder?
Murder!
But the police will be here any minute. You'll never get away with this.
Why should the police come?
Oh my God!
Of course.
What?
Nobody's called them. They were never on their way.
Oh.
So here's what we're gonna do, kids. We're gonna stack the bodies in the cellar. We're gonna lock the cell door. And then we're gonna leave quietly, one at a time, and forget that any of this ever happened.
I can't forget all this.
Oh, I almost forgot the best part. Now, with murder on the menu, the price of blackmail just tripled. Now move!
Wait a minute. We can all rush him. He's got no more bullets left in that gun.
Oh, come on. You don't think I'm gonna fall for that old trick?
It's not a trick. There was one shot at Mr. Body in the study, two for the cat, two in the lounge door, and then one for the singing telegram.
That's not 6.
1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1.
There was only one shot that got the cat. That's 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
Well, even if you were right, that would be 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, not 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
Okay, fine. 1 plus 2 plus Shut up! The point is, there is one bullet left in this gun, and anybody who moves is gonna get it.
So you're gonna keep blackmailing us, and we'll pretend that this never happened. That's the plan?
Of course. Why not?
I'll tell you why not. Larry Goodman, FBI.
Mr. Green? FBI? That sniffling stooge. Did you see this coming? Neither did I. Quick! End the Zoom meeting!
Quit talking to the audience, Wadsworth, or should I call you Mr. Body? The jig is up.
You're really FBI?
That's right. The real Mr. Green got a letter just like each of you, only he came to the Bureau to ask for help. I'm an agent of the Hartford office who's apparently a dead ringer for Green. I took his place tonight so we could have a sting operation.
Some sting! 6 people died on your watch, not to mention the poor cat.
They had to use me because the real Mr. Body here knew what Green actually looked like. I usually work at the Hartford desk on property crime, you know, theft, fraud, and the like. I've become a bit of an expert on the art of pickpocketing. That's how this large envelope named marked confidential ended up with me tonight, and not any of you.
You have the evidence.
It's all here. We had our suspicions of what we might find here, but I never imagined it would be this rich.
Let me see that.
Let's all take a look, shall we? Here's Miss Scarlett. Scarlett's accounting book for her classified affairs service, giving plenty of motivation as to why she killed the cop who's listed right here on her payroll.
Give me that!
Then we have this love letter addressed to Professor Plum.
That's private property.
Seems that singing telegram girl was the daughter of the head of the U.S. Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Looks like she was just about to come clean to Dad, who most certainly would have cleaned out Professor Plum. Guess that's why you killed her.
Now see here.
And these negatives. My oh my, Colonel, it looks like you've had quite a bit of classified affairs yourself. Guess you wouldn't have gotten to keep your important military title if your old driver, that unfortunate motorist who stopped by the house tonight, had informed your Major General where he drove you every Tuesday night.
I just wanted someone to talk to.
Talk, huh? That's a democratic way to put it.
I'm a Republican.
And poor Mrs. Peacock. Here's your Bible. Made it pretty easy to stash your cash for bribery, no? Too bad your old cook couldn't keep her mouth shut, huh? If only she hadn't told Body your secrets, maybe she would still be alive today.
God forgives all!
And Mrs. White, you weren't lying, were you? You really did hate Yvette.
So much flames. Flames on the side of my...
Here's a container holding your fingerprints, collected at the crime scenes of your previous murders.
I never murdered my husband.
Fingerprints that I'm sure the FBI will be able to match to the noose tied around Yvette's neck.
I wore gloves.
You mean these?
Damn.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Bobby Body.
It's Robert.
I hold in my hand an FBI file on the whole Big Body family. Your butler, Wadsworth, had been feeding us information for months. I can see why you killed him. Your shot missed him in the study, but he wisely played dead. Awfully good actor. Had us all convinced. But while we were all racing from the kitchen with the dead cook, you found your sneaky butler trying to make his escape by the bathroom and bludgeoned him to death with the lead pipe I'd dropped on the hallway while running to the kitchen.
That was convenient.
And you left him, dead in the bathroom, propped up against the door for poor Mrs. Peacock to encounter moments later.
You swine!
The Body family has been wanted for organized crime, blackmail, and murder for generations, but they've always eluded the law until now. Tonight, the Body family business has reached a dead end.
You leave my family out of this. Ah! Ah! I'm hit. Ah! I'm melting. I'm slain. I'm dust. I'm food for worms. Not dead. Close. Almost there. Probably about 32 seconds. Yes. Here we go. I'm gone.
He's dead.
Not yet. Now.
I tell you, this was the most exciting night I've had in a long time. Now, you're all under arrest. Boys, here are the criminals you've been looking for, and here's all the evidence against them. Oh, and there are some tapes in the billiard room you might find useful as well.
The tapes.
All right, who done it?
He did.
He did.
He did.
They all did it. But if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, I did. In the hall, with the revolver. Okay, Chief, take him away. I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
It has been customary for me to end each spring show with a speech for our seniors, and tonight is no exception. For the past 5 years, I have thought this part must get easier. It does not. Tonight, 5 seniors have taken their final bow on the NDBG stage. They have played their parts, and remarkably well, I might add. I will keep this brief, but want to recognize each one of them. First, I would be amiss not to mention the seniors who weren't able to be a part of a virtual production. The ones who keep me sane during the craziness of our show because, well, they do all the work. To Abby Verhayden, Abby Hamilton, Janelle Hanford, Alexis Spy, Angie Rodriguez, and anyone I may have missed, a huge thank you. Let me start with our actors and actresses. Shayla, you have been a wonderful presence on our stage, often playing multiple smaller roles that added up to make a significant impact. My favorite was the crocodile. I will miss your laugh and willingness to do anything to help. Thank you for your dedication to the drama department. Amelia, a quiet and powerful actress who took on every role of the past 5 years with a desire to make the character your own. Your willingness to laugh at yourself and me is so appreciated. I will miss our practices together and your very cheerful greetings. Having you as part of our program has been wonderful. Thank you. Gilda, the stage has become your second home. You have had a variety of roles through the years, and you've brought something special to each character. I appreciate all the years that you have put into the drama program and know how much it means to you. I hope that as you venture forth, that you carry the many memories of this family with you. Thank you for always being there for all of us. Audrey, you have been an important part of so many shows. Your wit and sense of humor always lightened up practices, and your willingness to work hard kept us all on track. I promised that it would keep our shows alive, but you did not warn me about the pandemic and tornado warning that would try to derail this one. Thank you for all that you have done. Noah, you have been a mainstay of our spring production from the beginning. That first show, you can't take it with you. You really took to heart. You have always left everything on the stage. When you stole the show from your brother 5 years ago, I knew you were going to be a star. Thank you for always going along with my ideas, especially the accents needed for your characters. I appreciate everything. To all of you, all the world is a stage, and more importantly, it is your stage. As you go off and do remarkable things, do not forget to come back and visit the stage that launched you all towards greatness. I miss you already, but you have planted the seeds that will allow drama to flourish for generations at NDBG. Take a bow, and good night.
Hello, everyone. I am Noah Decker. It is a tradition that after the closing night of the NDBG plays, the seniors would give speeches to thank the directors and all who helped put the show together. Although we can't be there physically this year, I would like to say a few words for Mr. Biggs. Since 8th grade, I have known Mr. Biggs and have been involved in the spring plays with him. The class of 2017, which included my brother, revived the spring plays at NDBG with the assistance of Mr. Biggs. I still remember during the first play we did, You Can't Take It With You, when the power went out and we had to practice in the dark. I think there were many things that happened during that play that really stressed Mr. Biggs out. Thankfully, Mr. Biggs decided to continue directing the plays for the following years. By my sophomore year,
the class of 2017 had graduated. This was also the first of what he probably felt were 3 very long years of having me as a student. The transition from working with my brother to working with me was a little rough at first. For instance, I can recall Mr. Biggs saying to me, "Christian never talked back." Although Mr. Biggs liked to joke around, he was always encouraging. It was a great experience to have him as a director. I am sure this is not how he expected to perform Clue, but I am sure he will look back on it as a funny memory. Over the years, I have enjoyed performing with a wonderful group of actors. Although I'm sure we caused Mr. Biggs a lot of stress, I also know that we brought him a lot of joy. I hope that he continues to find joy in life, and that he continues to persevere, just as he helped us to persevere through our plays, through power outages, and the current crisis. Thank you for everything, Mr. Biggs.
Hello all, this is Jilda Alvord, aka Miss Scarlet, in NDBG's Spring Play 2020 that will remain unnamed due to the possibility of legal repercussions. So I'd like to take a moment to talk to you as my castmates, my director, the editing crew, and last but certainly not least, the parents, family, and other supporters who have watched this entire performance to this point. This year wasn't supposed to happen like this. Right now, I would normally be standing on a stage, some of you standing with me, and the rest of you probably in less comfortable seats than the ones that you are sitting in right now. A little bit from now, my castmates and I would be heading over to Applebee's to take the biggest booth in the corner, ordering way too much food and staying up way too late. But we wouldn't care because we were exhausted and nauseous together. The misty eyes we feel at the end are the same though, and maybe we're feeling them a little bit harder right now than we normally would. Our last show together as a group, and we can't see each other face to face. This year there won't be any group photos in costume. There won't be any selfies to tag each other in, and no parents shoving us back onto the set close to midnight for just one more picture. How wonderful it is that for these past few years we've made something that we are able to miss so much. Something so great to grieve over. You know, they say that grief is just love with nowhere to go. So I'm gonna put all that love right here for you, where it belongs. Firstly, I'd like to address my fellow castmates. Working with you for the past 4 years has been an experience like no other. I have yet to find another group of people that made me feel so comfortable just being myself unapologetically. Thank you for the memories of singing obnoxiously in the dressing rooms and shouting random words backstage at the end of every show. Thank you for all the inside jokes that I keep really close to my heart. For all the little words that remind me of all of you and just how much you made everything that we did together sparkle. No matter what the future looks like, I know that you're all destined to do great things, so don't stop doing them now. To Mr. Biggs, thank you wholeheartedly. I know that this wasn't the way that you wanted it, but without you, none of this would have happened. Thank you for not letting us seniors leave without a last bow, without a last hurrah. And thank you for sending countless emails and phone calls to a certain script company that never responded, for finding us great help when it came to the Zoom performance, with video editing and audio editing so that it looked and sounded its best. But most importantly, thank you for supporting each and every one of us every step of the way and helping us be the performers and students that we are today. Next, I'd like to talk to the parents watching this, who don't normally get anything more than passing recognition. Over the past 4 years, our group has grown and changed a lot. I know that many of you are hurting for us in times like this. Although the issues of having to drive back to school with a forgotten script or prop or costume piece or whatever else we decided to leave at home or something, it wasn't fun. And I don't think dealing with the cranky teenagers that wanted fast food at like 10 p.m. because the long rehearsal was fun either. But I don't think that any of you would have given up that stress in this way. So thank you. Thank you for the countless hours that you put into helping us get to rehearsal number 1, but not only that, but come fed and prepared, and being our personal cheerleaders through it all. Thank you for your work with the sets and the sound and props over the years, and thank you for doing those things kind of impromptu this year. Perhaps it was a lot easier when we got our costumes from the costumer and we didn't have to Frankenstein together an old dress, a scarf, and some tights to be a Miss Scarlet costume, or having to go scavenger hunting through the house for that one toy revolver that we swore we put somewhere, or making the little confidential envelope that we would have got with the costume plot as a prop anyway. But thank you for doing those things despite the difficulties. Thank you for turning ordinary outfits into costumes and trinkets into props. Thank you for helping us at-home actors make an at-home theater. Thank you. And lastly, to the rest of you watching this, thank you for supporting our show. Some of my favorite moments here at NDBG was when, after a show, someone who I'd never met before would just come up to me and pour their entire heart out in appreciation. It's times like that that remind me why we do all of this. Make people happy. Thank you for always letting us know how much that we mean to you, because you mean the same to us. I think that's it. Thank you for listening to me rambling. One last time, thank you for the memories. I love you. God bless.